Hey guys, what's up? Today we are going to go through and install the Modifry dashboard bracket. It's a bracket that's designed to hold a cell phone or a GPS unit or something like that. I'm going to use it for an old cell phone, an iPhone 5 that I have that I'm going to use to run predictive lap times while I'm on the track. So I actually bought the bracket from Modifry, and then I also bought their cell phone mount, which works with this bracket very well. It's the one they recommend. I did get two additional of these little arms that hold the phone. They offer extra ones just for extra stability of the phone. Since I'm going to be using it on track, I thought that would be a good idea. So the tools that we need for this, I've got these plastic pry tools, which are for removing interior dash panels. These are made by Autocraft. They're pretty cheap ones from AutoZone. I hope that they work. I mean, they're pieces of plastic, so they should work. You need a short #2 Phillips head screwdriver, and then a standard Phillips head standard length Phillips head screwdriver. A paper clip, which we're going to modify to remove the plastic caps that cover the screws to remove the gauge surround, the cluster surround, and then an X-Acto knife. This is just a regular X-Acto knife to do some trimming of some of the plastic, and then obviously the product itself. And it does come with really good instructions, so I'm going to just follow the instructions. And with this video, hopefully it gives you guys an idea of the product. Also, once I get it installed, I'll let you guys know how it works and how well it holds the phone on track too. So here we go. All right, so there's one other thing you need: a pair of standard needle nose pliers. I'm going to use those to bend the paper clip. And what you want to do is you want to just take your needle nose pliers and bend one end of the paper clip. I'll straighten it out first so it's straight, and then they say to bend one end at a 90-degree angle, about 1/8 of an inch or so. So hopefully that's not too much. I think that should be about the right size. So I'm just bending it in sort of an L shape, and I'm going to use that to pry off the caps for the screw covers, so I can get to the screws, and I'll show you that here inside the car. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, since I have a removable steering wheel, is go ahead and pop the steering wheel off. It's going to make it a lot easier to show you guys all of this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. You obviously don't have to do this. This is just going to make it easier, just so that I can get the camera in there and show you guys. So once that's been removed, there are two screw caps. There's one, if you can see this, I saw it a second ago. Let me see here. So there are two screw caps. There we go. So there's one right here, and there's one right here, and those have to be popped off so that we can loosen this cowl surround. And this is the area right here where the dash bracket is going to stick out, and there's a screw back here that we're going to need to get to attach it. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and remove these two screws, and what you do is you slide the paper clip into the edge of this little tab here, and then you kind of just pull it to pop it out. So let's see how this goes. So I've pulled it loose with the paper clip there. You can see I've sort of popped it out a little bit. Let's see if I can get it the rest of the way out. There we go. Okay. So there we go. So that's the little cap that covers the screws. So now if you look, you should be able to see the screw that's inside there. You can barely see it, but that's the Phillips head screw. So that's why you need the stubby screwdriver. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so now that I've removed the two Phillips head screws from the gauge cluster surround, I've got to use one of my plastic pry tools. I'm not sure which one to use. This one's called a remover narrow type. That sounds good to me. I don't know. So I'm going to use this to try to pry this gauge cluster surround away from the dash. You're not going to pull it all the way out. You just want to sort of pop it loose a little bit. That's basically the instructions, so that you can access the screw that's back here. So I'm going to give this a shot here. And apparently there are 3 spring-style clips. So let's see how this goes. I've not done this before, so this might take me a little while to do. I'm not sure. Hopefully I don't break my dash. There it goes. It sounds like one popped out the bottom down here. I'm going to try it up here at the top. Let's see. So I can pull it out. There it goes. I'm just sort of prying with this tool. Try to use this end. I don't want to destroy my dash, but it seems like it takes. There it goes. A little bit of force. I was kind of now that's there. Now I can kind of pull it with my hand. So it's got a little play in it, as you can see. Okay. So now we can see the screw here. This Phillips head screw is what is going to actually be used to mount the bracket. So I'm going to test fit the bracket, and then I've got to trim. There's a little lip, like a little plastic lip along here, and I've got to trim that with my X-Acto knife to give me some clearance, so that so this can go back flush, because basically that space is going to be occupied by the bracket itself. It's got to sort of stick out through this crack once I put this back together. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this with the X-Acto knife. Actually, sorry, I'm not. The first thing I got to do is I've got to sort of mock up the bracket to see exactly where I need to trim. I think it's just going to be sort of this area right here. And then once I do that, then I'll go ahead and trim with the X-Acto knife. If I hold this up here, I sort of mock it up right on top of the bolt. So that's how it's going to sit. So I can look here and see that I've basically got to trim from here down to about where the bolt is. So this section I need to trim. So now I'm going to take my X-Acto knife. I'm going to go ahead and trim that section. So I'm just gradually working my way down. I'm just slicing this lip off. It's actually pretty tough plastic. Maybe my X-Acto knife is not the sharpest, probably too. But it's definitely taking some force to trim. There we go. Okay, so that's like I don't know, I'd say that's probably 3-inch piece that I trimmed off. And you might not need to trim quite that much, but I don't think if you trim a little extra it's going to be a big deal. Now I'm going to test fit the bracket again and just make sure that it does in fact fit. You know what, I might need to trim, I might have to trim a little bit more off the bottom. I didn't go down quite far enough, so you probably want to come down actually past that bolt. Okay, so that should be pretty good. Next step is to take this bolt out, and then I'm going to bolt up the bracket. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I'm going to mount up the dash bracket in its place. And I'm going to put the screw back in. Okay, so now I'm going to use my screwdriver to screw this back in. Okay, that's pretty snug. Okay, so now I've got the screw in here, and I'm going to go ahead and try to pop this back in. And my understanding is that this bottom section, this bottom tab is actually harder to get popped back in than the top one, so I'm going to try to do that one first. So I'm going to go ahead and push this in. It seems to have gone in. I'm going to push the top one in. I guess that's as far as it goes. It looks pretty good from what I can see from this angle, so that's pretty good. Okay, I just want to make sure that was all the way back in. Now I'm going to go ahead and these don't work. I'm going to go ahead and put these screws back in here in the dash. So I'm going to go back to this section here, the dash, and put these screws back in using this short Phillips head again. All right, feels nice and firm. So that's back in. Now I'm going to pop these pop tabs back in, and it's the same way you took them up. I mean, they just pop straight back in pretty much. Just make sure you're matching the contour of the dash there, of the gauge surround bezel. There we go. Okay, so those are back in. So now it's completely reassembled. This feels pretty sturdy, pretty firm. Doesn't move up and down. It has a little flex to it, but it's steel. But I think this is going to be pretty good. We'll have to see. The real test is going to be once we get on track. So we'll have to see once we get on track. But it seems like this is pretty sturdy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mount up this phone mount. Okay, so I'm just putting this last screw in. It's kind of tricky. You have to kind of hold the nut on the back side while you're putting the screw in. They're really small and they're all black, so if you drop one with this black interior, they're definitely hard to find. So just be really careful when you're putting these in. And then you may want to go back with a small wrench or something on the back side just to tighten these all down. I mean, it actually feels pretty tight. These are just, with them being kind of finger tight. But just to make sure that nothing falls off, you're probably going to want to use a small wrench on the back side to tighten these up. So I'll go back and do that later, but right now let's put the phone mount on. Let's see what that looks like. So it just kind of goes on and then slides down like that. And then if I put my phone in there, this is a 6. I'm going to be using a 5 on the track, and you just sort of cinch these down. And it just sits kind of like that. There, you can kind of tighten it up. Yeah, so that's pretty tight. Like I said, I do have 2 more of these little arms, so I'm going to actually move these 2 down here to this lower position, and then I'm going to add 2 more right here, so I'll have 4 total. And I think those just kind of pop in. I've got them in the box over there, but yeah. So that's it feels pretty sturdy rather. I don't think it's going to bounce out on track. But let's see here. I'll take it on track and let's see how it does on the track. Okay, so I've got this installed now, and this is what it's going to look like when it's up and running. I'm using Harry's lap timer, and it's got the predictive lap time. So when it's running on the track, it's going to show if you're faster or slower than your current best lap for that session, which is pretty cool. It's cool for two reasons. So number one, it's a good diagnostic tool. If you're driving and you're saying, oh, okay, turn 3, I want to try a different line through turn 3 and see if it gets me any time. Well, you can try something new through turn 3 and immediately see, okay, did that is that saving me time or is it costing me time? So it's a quick diagnostic tool that lets you quickly see if what you're doing is helping or if it's hurting your lap times. The second thing is for time trials. If early on in the lap, if you look at your predictive time and you've basically already blown the lap, if you're already like a second off of your fastest time, then you can kind of let your tires and your brakes cool down and take it easy on that lap and then roll into the next one and try again. So it's a little bit of sort of strategy as well for time trials. So there are two different good uses for predictive lap timing and having a predictive lap timer running while you're driving. So I'll have an iPhone 5 running this app with predictive lap times, and then I actually use this phone, the iPhone 6, in my camera mount with the Harry's lap timer video feature. So that gives you the overlay with your RPM and speed and your sector times and all of that. And that's the track video that you'll see here. Okay, so here I am on track. You'll probably notice that the camera is not very well secured. Which I was having sort of issues with my mount all day, but it's kind of cool because you can see the G-forces and how they're acting on the camera and get a feel for what it feels like to be in the car. You also get to see the lap timer and the predicted times that I was talking about before. Alright, so as you can see, the mount worked flawlessly. I mean, even in situations where I'm pulling a lot of G's here on the track, the mount and the phone are not moving at all. So it really is a great solution. If you want to run predictive lap times, or if you want to put a GPS, or if you want to even an AIM solo or one of those types of systems, if you don't want to use a cell phone based system, I think you could easily mount it to this bracket, this Modifry bracket. I would definitely give it 2 thumbs up. Easy to install, as you guys saw, and it works really well on track. It's well positioned, easy to see, easy to read, and easy to reach. So I would definitely recommend this product. It's very well designed and very well thought out. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I plan to do a lot more of these types of videos as I add different products and as I continue to develop the car. So please like and subscribe if you want to follow me on my journey, and I will see you guys next time.